thank you very much for this opportunity to be here today. And we've had a very interesting and engaging conversation from these amazing panelists. But I feel like we left the best for last, right? Money. Somebody say money. You see, she talks about empowerment, and particularly digital empowerment. One of the things my company do, we work with the GIZ or SME incubation programs to help them become investment ready, prepare them for the debt room so that investors can either come in as equity investors or loan or even grants, right? And so we have a lot of these things, right? And which is good. But before I talk about the how, I want to talk about why women should be in financial inclusion. So the last boot camp we had in Lagos, the Prestige Tech My Biz bootcamp was for tech people, and a lot of them were females. I was glad and proud to see that we now have a lot of women in tech. But here is the point: they are looking for funds. They have built amazing and innovative businesses, including apps. So you train these people, they now know how to do this job, but they don't have money to scale their businesses. What you end up producing are intelligent thieves. Because if I know how to build an app, and I don't have the money to go ahead, I will start with them. We have a lot of cases in Nigeria where you get an SMS and say, press this code, and if you make a mistake to do that, the funds in your account will be completely wiped away. True or false? Those are people that have been empowered. Now, empowerment talks about several things: training to improve your mind, the self-confidence to gain a skill, but you gain all the skills and then you don't get the funding to actually pursue your dreams. Because not everyone can be as privileged to get a job with an international organization as quickly as she did in the same year. So when that happens, you end up training and raising and producing intelligent teams that will steal from the government, steal from every single person they can lay hands on. And we don't want that to happen. So that is why it's important for women to be financially included in every aspect. Now, the how. There are several ways that this can be addressed, so that it can also yield returns economically, environmentally, socially, and financially. And I'm going to just speak to four of them. One of them is the targeting gender inclusive enterprises, which empowers both the woman and the girl child. And the outcome, when capital is directed towards women-led businesses, is that they become involved in the economies, right? They become involved in policy making and all that. But also, another thing that it produces is one, it empowers the women, fostering entrepreneurship, job creation, as well as economic growth. The second effect is that it develops community level skill acquisition and wealth creation. Now, I would like to talk more on this. When we talk about community level skill acquisition and wealth creation, one of the lady who read the spoken word said, one of the lines she spoke about, she said, my mom sold akara to train me. And so I decided I was going to use that example because we can all relate to it. Now, this woman sells akara, right? It's a low-income business, right? And so she can't afford labor to help her. There are so many aspects of selling akara. You just think it's just about selling akara, but it's beyond that. So what does she do? She takes her children, her community, her neighbors, anyone around her. And then these children, on Saturdays, during holidays, they are with her. One is helping to coordinate the customers who comes to take order for akara that they want to buy, ensuring that she knows how much each person has ordered for. The other is helping to fan the flame in the fire so that it doesn't go off. The other is serving the in-person that will sit down there and take their while another is helping to wash the plates that were used to, And so what has this woman successfully done informally? She has helped them develop different skills, from people management skills to customer service skills. She has helped them to develop team playing skills, so they become team players even without having to attend any formal training. She has been able to help them develop several skills that is relevant even in the corporate world. These children will learn how to delegate without having to go to a business school to learn all these things. Okay, so when this girl child grows up and she's in another community, what now happens if she doesn't have a job? She remembers what her mother used to do, and then she starts a business. It might not necessarily be an akara business, but she starts a business and she uses those skills that she learned from her own educated mother who was frying akara. I tell you that when a man is in business, they don't really want the children around because it could be a distraction. True or false? But the woman will manage the price of the baby and still do the business. So she ends up giving rise to community skill development without going to business school. So you see, it's very important that capital is directed towards female-led businesses. Because when you do that, our convener said empowering women is not charity, it is justice. You are doing the economy a favor when you empower women financially. Okay, so the second way this can be achieved, because we're talking about environmental and socially, is through climate resilient financial products for smallholder female farmers. So when projects are given to smallholder female farmers, one of the things it guarantees is food security. Secondly, it reduces the shock of climate, and I'll give you an example. We worked with a company in Bauchi, and what they do is solar-powered irrigation system for smallholder female farmers. A lot of these farmers into rice production, cassava, you name it. And when we talk about helping them to cushion the shock of the climate, sometimes we hear that, there's been no rain for 7 months in Borneo, there's been no rain here. When that happens, it reduces their production. But we worked with this company and we were able to raise funds from the UNDP and several other organizations. And these funds were specifically targeted towards buying this irrigation, solar-powered irrigation pump for these women. So UNDP funded this machinery for the women so that they can have year in, year out farming using solar-powered irrigation. So whether there's rainfall or there's no rainfall, because an organization has decided to enable these women with these machines, they will keep producing their foodstuff. And that also talks about food security. Apart from food security, it also ensures that agriculture is sustained in their states or wherever they are practicing their farming. Okay, the third I will talk about is investing in health, energy, and education. So when finances is targeted towards infrastructure, such as maybe like we talked about the solar panels, irrigation pumps, we also have cases where they do water purification in rural areas. This helps reduce the number of the hours, the time that women do house chores. Because now if I have a water supply system in my house, or we have a supply point very close to the community, I don't have to go to the stream again. It has to reduce the number of times that I will go out to the stream to fetch water and against your water supply that is in the community. It also speaks to their health, because if you have to be going to the stream, carrying water on your head every time coming back home, over time it will tell on your health, right? And also, it also supports the SDGs that he has talked about, SDG 3, 4, 5, 7, and 13. So when women are financially included, there's a lot of improvement that we see not just in their life, but in the community at large. And the last I would like to speak to is microfinance and impact investment. Now, there are microfinances that are socially inclined that help with funding for women-led businesses at a very fair interest rate. When this happens, it helps these women to scale up their businesses, right? And also, sometimes these investments could be either thematic or it could be impact investment. And when we talk about impact investment, we are looking at organizations coming out to fund female-led businesses, maybe in several areas like education, healthcare, and empowerment, like they are doing now. This is a form of empowerment, and it costs money to be able to host such a conference and call people from all across the country to speak to you. So this is an impact investment that's being carried out here. The next is thematic investments that speaks to teams. Several teams might decide to say, okay, we want to empower widows. So you are speaking to a particular team, we want to empower the young women and girls. Right now we're working with the Shipuded of the Global Woman, where we're training women between 18 to 35 years, right? And so all these things cannot be achieved without money. And that's why I said they take the best for last. Now, if women are financially included, right? What happens is that there's multiplication, right, of the return on investment to the investor financially, to the community socially, and to the environment for the future generation. So we cannot play with women in financial inclusion because it is the heartbeat of everything that we have discussed here. Otherwise, we will end up intelligently. Thank you.
For the questions.